that good against humans, Hashem tells him, oh, by the way, I could have polished you off, had I wanted to. I could have done it all in the Deva and checkmate. But Ulam, he gives him the reason. Because of this, I've kept you alive. I want to show you my power. The whole world will talk about me. Because Baruch said, this is for real.
Is it not a bit petty though that?
No, because the whole world was pagan.
But does Hashem need the whole world?
He wants the world to be Ma'aminin.
Power?
He wants the world to be Ma'aminin.
But the way he presents it,
that's right. Because Paro is refusing to concede.
Like, I've got a bigger car than you, or I've
no, it's not. Because Baruch wants everyone to be Ma'aminin. He says it's one of the Shem Mitzvah Shabbat Neinah. Right? Now, he then tells him something very interesting. And this, the Rambam says, is where we learn it from. Paro had no Bechira. Moshe said to him, you're going to hold on to my people, not send them out. And this time tomorrow, this time tomorrow, there'll be borod koved ma'od. Now Paro could have said, oh yeah, there'll be hail tomorrow. Take the people and go. Go on, go, goodbye. So Moshe says, the Rambam, Moshe wasn't giving him a choice. He was telling him what's going to happen. You are going to hold on to the people. You can't send them anymore. You can't send them out. And this time tomorrow, you're going to get it with the hailstones. And look what the Torah says now. Asher lo haya kamoyo b'Mitzrayim has never happened in Mitzrayim before. Limin hayom yivosav, the day it was established ad oto. And then he has Rachmanis on it. He says anything outdoors will be destroyed. Now this is a miracle of miracles. We'll see in a minute. Because hailstones this size should have destroyed the houses as well. We'll come to it in a minute. He says, anyone found outside, man or animal, the borod will kill. So those who feared the word of Hashem brought them in. Those who didn't care left them out. Now, does anybody know where hailstones come from?
From clouds.
The gas giant.
Yeah. What happens in the clouds that produces a hailstone? Very interesting. Hail is a type of precipitation of water in the atmosphere and is formed when drops of water freeze together in the cold upper regions of a thunderstorm cloud. So they call it an embryo because it starts off very small. And as the storm is brewing, it's very interesting this, the wind pushes this little bit of frozen rain higher up the cloud. As it goes higher up the cloud, it hits the raindrops that's coming, it's a storm, are coming down and they hit it and they freeze round it. So the wind keeps pushing them up and up and up and up and up. And depending on how long that happens for, that's how big the hailstone will be. And then when it gets too heavy, it starts coming down. It looks quite big, right? It looks quite big. Now, it's rare in England to get massive hailstone storms. Believe it or not, this is actually massive. And it's a small one. But that's all you need. It doesn't need to be any larger than that to smash car windows, smash into things, and cause a lot of damage. 2.5 inch, that's all it needs. Big boulders of hailstone, yeah, will smash everything and anything. Especially houses in those days. What could a roof be made out of already? Okay, and of course, Baruch says it's going to distinguish. You're going to see how powerful I am. I'll smash here, and I won't smash there. Even though it's the same. It doesn't say they won't hit the roof. They probably did hit the roof, but they will only affect things which are left outside. Now he says here, it's quite amazing. He said even today, with all the knowledge, all of sciences and everything, he said globally relevant and locally devastating, hailstorms produce significant social impact. Despite this, our understanding of hailstorms and our ability to predict them is very limited. Very fascinating. So now, it mentions it's never happened in Mitzrayim since it was founded. Now there's a picture here, you can't see it a little bit, of the dark colours are places in planet Earth where it's very common, funny enough in springtime, to get major hailstone storms. If you look over Egypt, in Africa, over Egypt it's white. They never happen in Egypt. Over Egypt, over there, it's completely clear. It never happens. That's what the Torah is telling us. It's never happened in Egypt. Never happened. So this can't now be laughed off as a natural phenomenon. No such thing in Egypt. Unbelievable. Backed up here. Right? So, it says here, in America, which they happen quite often, he said the largest recorded one was a 20 centimetre hailstone,
How big is
which
that?
is 8 inches, isn't it? 20 centimeters, 8 inches. There you are. It's pretty big, right? It's a bit more like a cannonball, isn't it, than a hailstone?
If that
Okay,
hits someone on the head, they're dead.
Yeah.
pretty much so. Yeah. Well, it said anyone who's outside it's going to kill them.
A kid's head.
Yeah.
Baby's head.
Baby's head's 8 inches. Right. Now, it says here, hail is the most impactful of the thunderstorm-related hazards, producing annual damage exceeding 13 billion US dollars in America and Europe. At the time of writing, summer 2020, more than 20 billion of the 27 billion global insurance losses was caused by severe convective storms in the United States,
That's dead.
with hail the largest contributor.
Wow.
Now, okay, now it says here, here's another very important detail. Yeah, it says as well, they try sensors and radar, and they try everything to try and get an understanding of hail, so they don't really understand the lomdus of how it actually works. Now,
You just said how it works.
no, they don't quite understand, they can't predict it. More of the rain, they can more or less say when it's going to rain tomorrow,
yeah.
yeah, but they can't do it with a hailstorm.
What about snow?
Yeah, it says again, it says here as well, despite these recent advances, we still don't have a great capacity to predict hail occurrences and size with specificity, and there is still much to learn.
Did they predict
Now.
snow?
They can.
Sorry?
Snow?
Snow within reason, they can, yeah, within
The
reason.
space station can see
Now.
snow,
They can predict snow, yeah.
before it comes.
Yeah. So he says like this, this plague is described in more detail, more than any other of the Makos.
It moves at 17,000
Now,
miles an hour.
the region around Cairo normally receives 2 inches of rain per year, and occasionally a storm of water. In this plague, Hashem sent
They can see
the first hailstorm in Egyptian history.
the storm moving.
Now, because Baruch Hu also wanted to teach Paro, I don't want to destroy you. Anyone indoors will be okay. So, he says to be very interesting. The crops which were destroyed were the barley and flax. He said they are the first crops planted and harvested around the Nile. And the Torah tells us here the flax and barley crops were destroyed, which means, very interesting, this must have taken place in January or February. Because we know this is already Makkah number 7, and Pesach time in March, they came out. So it's very accurate. It's even with the clues you've got about what crops were destroyed, it pinpoints roughly the time of the year it took place. Flax was very important to the Egyptians. They made linen out of it. Wheat was a crop that not only fed people, but was used for export. Although this plague caused widespread devastation, we'll see, Chazal say, a pella of a pella, a few trees remained for the locusts of the next plague to devour. Now, again, he brings which avodah zarahs were knocked out. He said that the avodah zarah of the sky, that was gone. The avodah zarah of sunlight and air, he was gone. He said there was another one, the avodah zarah of water, rain, dew, and moisture. Well, he turned against them. And then there's another one with the shape of a cobra, which was the avodah zarah of the grain and the harvest, and was considered the guardian of Pharaoh. Well, he he was knocked out as well when all the crops were destroyed. Okay. Yeah, the Torah mentions again, like with the 4th and 5th plague, that Goshen was exempt. And again, Paro doesn't want to give it. Paro doesn't want to give it. So I just want to show one thing here. So Hashem warned him, this Makkah, number 7, is going to penetrate to your heart. And all he told him was about hailstones, nothing more. But what happened to Lamaisa? So Moses stretched out his hand, Hashem nosan, koilos ubarad. Thunder, and borrowed. Now, you do get, when the fire bombs, you hear the whistling sound. There is a certain sound produced when the projectile goes through the air. So whether this shows how big the borrowed was and it produced this sound, or it was an additional thunder to go with it, I'm not sure. But they say, I have experience, I was in Yerushalayim in the first Gulf War. There's a very scary, eerie sound when the air raid sirens go off. If anyone spoke to about the Blitz, so the Blitz was a little bit more devastating. So what happened, my father's grandmother told me, he remembers a little boy being carried out from the house to the air raid shelter in the back, which he said didn't help for a direct hit, but it would, for shrapnel or whatever, it was preventative. And he remembered watching the Germans bombing Manchester, but they didn't quite get to Cheetham Hill. They got the centre of town. Cheetham Hill didn't quite get it so bad. He said, but the sound is what's scary. in an artillery attack, even if you're well sheltered, the noise of the explosions, and the thought about who might have been hit and who's been damaged, that is the terrifying part of war. So here we've got kolos, which he was not told about in advance. Vatihalach eish arza. Now, fire doesn't travel downwards. You light a fire, it goes upwards. If you take a match, it's quite funny, and you put it like this. There's a way of doing it, the shtick you can do. You watch it, the flame goes up. Even though you've turned it down, that's the nature of fire. That's why Hashem made fire. Fire rises. And here, Vatihalach eish arza. Fire changed its direction and came down. Again, because God was showing him, I'm the Almighty, and if when I say so, fire will change its natural course and go in a different direction. Vayamte Hashem borrowed, he rained down borrowed on Eretz Mitzrayim. Then Chazal tell us another thing. It came in a package. It was a block of ice with a fire inside, which normally don't go on together. So the borrowed came down, smashed wherever it crushed. The fire then opened up the ice block and set fire to the fields and the green, wherever was there, it destroyed it. Okay? So again, they saw opposite forces. I was showing Andrew. I say fire does this, it will do it, and the two together will make a nice chavrusa, should I so wish. Now, so it does its job, not in Goshen. And here we are, look at this. Exactly as Hashem said it would. For the first time, he said vidui. Moish, what do you bang when you say vidui?
Chest.
Hashem said, this one's going to get through to your heart. Look what he says, look what Parah says. Hashem atzadik v'ani v'ami horoshoim. Ha'atziru el Hashem, please daven, get rid of this one. And look what got him the most, he admits it. V'rav miyos koilos elokim uvar. The noise, stop that noise. And I'll send them out. So Moshe said, all right, I'll go out. And he says to me, very interesting. He said, HaKolos yechdolen, the noise will stop. But he says, V'haborod lo yeh, there'll be no more borod. He didn't say there'll be no more kolos. Again, HaKolos yechdolen, the thunder, the noise will stop. V'haborod lo yeh, but the borod will never be again. Leman teda, so you should know Kil Hashem was, this world is mine. Learn your emunah, learn your lesson. So Chazal say, Balasurim brings it, in Parshas Yisro, Matan Torah, morning of Matan Torah, what does it say? Kolos of Rokim. Kolos of Rokim, the thunder, which had stopped there, but Moshe didn't say there would be again, they were that degree of thunder was on Har Sinai. Some even say it was the actual continuation of the thunder of the Shram, which stopped there, didn't reach the ground anymore, the sound didn't reach, it came down on Har Sinai. Now, why was it necessary to have such a degree of noise, of the power of that noise at Har Sinai? Why?
Remind them.
Could be. Keep it fresh in Asher Tzisich and Meretz Mitzrayim, to remind them, a little reminder, that'll be very nice chat. Lovely suggestion. So the Gemara says, why did Hashem indeed create thunder in the world? What's the point of it? What's the need for it? Do we need thunder? We can live without thunder. So the Gemara says an amazing thing.
You could tell us how far the
the line is going from. But do we need to know? Do we need to know?
Yeah.
Does it make a difference to chatting the taste for us? I mean, it's nice to know. Yeah, it's interesting to know. It's fascinating. But do we need to? Does it make a difference to us?
Can do, yeah.
So what's the impact on human beings? So the Gemara says, "Lo nivru ra'amim ela lefashik akmum yishubalein." The power of thunder, it knocks out, it irons out any bumps in your heart. When you hear a big clap of thunder and you jump out of your skin, who do you think of at that moment? Because you're supposed to think of him. You jump up and you make a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech shekocho u'gvuraso mali olam. A big clap of thunder knocks out any mishigasin in your head, and you think of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So now it makes a lot of sense why it was needed on the morning of Matan Torah. Knock out any funny ideas they may have had, any wacky ideas, the power of these koilos, like it went with Paro. It knocked out all the Mishigas out of his head. Chotosi apom, Hashem atzadi, v'ani mamir Roshon. You see the impact it made on Paro. Knocked out all the crazy ideas from his head for the first time, from his heart. Because Shwalbe wanted Klal Yisrael to accept the Torah 100%. No cheshbonas, no preconceived ideas, no, yeah, but, if, what, none of that. And therefore that degree of noise was needed again on Har Sinai. Okay, everybody, so we'll stop there. And Be'ez Hashem, next week we'll finish off the Makos. And then we'll do the halachas of this year, Erev Pesach, which falls on Shabbos. The difference is from a normal year to this year.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.